Hey guys, hey, how y'all doing? Pay no attention to the dogs that you'll probably hear in the background. I know I'm late. I said 5, but it's like 5:15. But neither here nor there. Um, I wanted to talk about relationships and like just being spiritual. Being on your spiritual journey and finding yourself and finding your purpose. Because I know a lot of people come and they ask me about it. They, question like, how do you find someone? How do you connect? Things of that nature. And I think some people think that there are games that are played sometimes when getting with a spiritual person as well. And I just wanted to kind of go into it for some people that are curious about it. Hey, Chelsea. Hey, love. So I'm gonna get right into it because y'all know me. I will actually prolong shit and just like be on here for a long time. And I don't want to hold up anybody. So, okay. So I'll start with for people that are trying to date or be with someone spiritual, since it could be a little bit difficult. Hey, boo. Hey, Lala. When you're trying to date someone spiritual, make sure that you are genuine in your intentions. I say this because a lot of people think that spiritualists, occultists, alchemists, people that do hoodoo, voodoo, whoever you've gotten in contact with that does things, I feel like some people kind of really take it with a grain of salt or just like not really pay attention to the person that they're trying to talk to. A lot of people have intuition and gut feelings. We all do. We all have gut intuition. When you date an intuitive or someone that is well mastered in their abilities to do things, you can't half-ass come at them. I'm not saying that everybody that reads cards is an oracle or everybody that does certain things is an oracle, but people that actually have mastered their intuition or have mastered an ability to look at what is and what isn't, they don't do that just for other people or clients. They do that for themselves. So when people come into their lives saying certain things, a lot of us can see what will and will not happen or what type of BS might happen, whether it be from you or from someone you know or whatever, however you want to put it, which doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that instead of that person getting into a relationship with you or anyone else that is not going to end well on your end or their end, they would rather not even put the effort into it, because why put yourself through something that you know isn't going to work? Like when I do readings for my clients and I know something is going to be just bad, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. So when I see something bad for me dealing with another person, I don't push it under the rug and be like, oh, well, I can change this. Especially if I know I can't, I'm not going to try it. So when dating a spiritual person, a cultist or whatever like that, you really have to come with pure intentions, and you have to come with with a vibe that you're healing. Because another thing is, a lot of people like to be out here talking about their healing, they're doing this, knowing that they're not. They're just using that as a scapegoat to talk to somebody that they like, not really paying attention to the fact that they are about their journey. They are about their spirituality. They are about what they say they're about. And then you try to get with them, they're healing, you're not, or they're on this page that you're not on. And then there becomes this resentment either from either side, or you're unsure about how to go forward, which you wouldn't be had you been honest up front with the person. And like I said, many spiritualists, they might not have the mastery of intuition. So that's not to say everybody with an ability is going to be able to see that someone's bullshitting them or not in the right space. But again, You have got to pay attention to the type of person that you're talking to. A lot of us rush into relationships without knowing the core of the person that you're talking to. You need to know if that person is petty at their core, if that person is considerate, if they are all about themselves, if they're only working on themselves, if they're willing to teach, if they're not willing to teach. Like, you have to know the person that you're going to be with, because assuming that they want to do this for you and they want to do that for you is not always one of the best things to assume, because you don't know the person. Just like how when you make friends, you don't know how they are or they react when you have disagreements. They might not be the type of friend where you have a disagreement and they realize that you're doing it out of love, or that you still love them or you care for them. So same thing with relationships. You have to make sure that you know the person before you jump into anything, because that's a setup for failure. Hey everybody. So yeah, be careful when dating someone spiritual. And it's not like to push you guys away from the idea. It's more so to make you see that if you are looking to find someone healed or that can help you heal, be honest about that intention. If you know you are not healed, but you're working on it, be honest about that intention. If you have no plans on being healed, be honest about that intention, because you never know if you're going to find someone that isn't intuitive, that can see, like a psychic or a seer, like me, or you have someone else who may not be that much of a seer, but they don't like being hurt. And because you decided to not be honest about your intentions and you hurt them, they get angry. And not saying this is all women or men, but when some people get upset or angry, regardless if they have mastered, not, I won't say mastered, because if they've mastered it, they won't, certain things they won't do. But if you find someone that's spiritual and you do something to hurt them and you weren't completely honest, and sometimes even if you were, they will do things. They will. And then some of you are sitting here talking about, well, I don't know why my life is falling apart. Well, maybe it's because you did something to someone that was spiritual and you didn't pay attention to the warning signs that they gave you ahead of time. And now their spirits have decided that you are full of shit. They don't like you and they're going to mollywop you all the way down the road. There's that. So to take it to the next round and talk about a spiritual person getting into a relationship, because I also see a lot of spiritual people talking about, you know, relationships and wanting to get in them and things of that nature, or not finding the right person. Sorry, I'm just trying to set this up real quick. Being spiritual, it's like the same thing I was saying to the people that want to date someone spiritual. When you're spiritual, you know when something isn't right. And because people tend to want you for themselves, when you tell someone that you're not interested or it won't work, if people know you're an intuitive or something like that, or whether they do or not, they may try to say, like, how do you know? I've had people tell me that. And I'm a seer. I'm a psychic. Like, how else would I know? I ask. And I divine for myself. I don't just divine for clients. I divine for myself. So I was kind of confused on why, I knew why I didn't, or why nothing really came of anything. But honestly, spirit will tell you when the person is right. Some of us like to ignore green flags, which are flags that are telling us great things are coming. And some of us like to ignore red flags, which tell us that the person is not for us, but we still want that person. Yeah, Molly wop you all the way down the road. So, you know, with that being said, if you find that there is no spark when you meet people, don't feel bad. That is because they're not for you. There might be people that look good, like they working it, they doing everything you want. But at the end of the day, if you're able to see far enough, or spirit is giving you that, hey, I don't know if this is going to work for you, you might end up in a space that you don't like, it's best to listen. Like when I tell people my story about, like, being on chill and not really trying to do anything, they're always like, why? Well, because unless spirit gives me the, hey, this is a good person, I'm not going to indulge in it. Pay attention to all the times you've indulged in something that spirit was like, maybe you shouldn't. How long did it last? Was it more of a nuisance than a lesson? Do you feel like you should have just listened to spirit? Because anytime that I've done something like that, I've always felt like, you big dummy, you should have listened to spirit. A lot of us are very stuck on time. I'm stuck on time too. But a lot of us are stuck on time and I want it done now. When we forget that things aren't really linear. And spirit, our ancestors do things for us in the time that it needs to be done. So it's that of our highest good, so that we're not having an appetizer, but we're having an 8-course meal with the gold accents on the cutlery. Not that I need gold accents on the cutlery, but if they feel I deserve the gold accents on the cutlery and the cups, then let them hand it to me the way they feel like I deserve. And I personally feel like I deserve the best. So if that's what they feel like as the best that I deserve, then I will wait for that instead of having an appetizer that will probably be short-term satisfaction than long-term satisfaction. Yes, we know how we pay for things when we don't listen to things and we jump into a relationship. A lot of us are not accustomed to being alone, whether we are spiritualists or not. And knowing who you are by yourself, you never lose who you are when you get in a relationship. And that's whether you're spiritual or not. But as spiritualists, listen to your spirit. Miniano, Peller, anybody that knows that person, block them, because we don't do that here. We don't do that, Miniano, Peller. You're a spammer. Get off. Thanks. Sorry, guys. If you see that person, I just named their name and they talk about inbox you for a reading. Like I said, it's a lot of scammers out here, and trust in people's energy and go with the people you know. If someone is soliciting to you on other people's pages, their lives, their posts that have nothing to do with that, they ain't asking about that, they're more than likely spamming, and they're not going to help you. They're not going to be as accurate, because an accurate person doesn't need to tell you. Any water sign is especially extra intuitive because they're ruled by water. So yes, Cancers, Pisces especially, and Scorpio, they're all intuitive. We might be crazy in our own ways, but we're very intuitive. Or if you have a lot of water in your natal chart, yeah. But be mindful, because I've heard so many stories in the spiritual community where there'll be people that you feel like, why aren't they for you? And you do think that they will be a great person, but they're not meant for you. Your purpose, your journey does not match up for them to be with you. And a lot of us try to force the envelope thinking that that person can grow on you. And that's not what it is. Spirit does not work like that. Good. Block them, because I'm going to do it when I get off this live. But pay attention to the signs. When you rush into relationships, you also block blessings, because you're rushing into something with someone that is not going to treat you the way that you require. Not to say that they're not going to treat you nicely, but we all have requirements of what we expect in a relationship. And if you just accept the first thing just because it seems nice and because you're lonely, it's not going to last as long as you want it to. Think about what you've been asking the universe for, what you've been asking God for, what you've been asking whatever deities or energies you work with for. Does that person match everything? If not, they're probably not the person, and you're being tested to see if you can wait for what is yours or you're quick to take something else. Think about it. A lot of us are quick to just take what seems right. And then when it fades out or it falls to the wayside, or a person gets upset at you because you didn't see them the way they thought they should be seen, or whatever have you, then like you're in a situation. Be very mindful. Be very mindful. Because even spiritual people, because we heal, we attract people that need healing. And not every person that comes to you needs to be in a relationship with you to receive that healing. And a lot of us think that because we feel that attraction because they need to be healed, that we need to be with them. Or we feel like the person that is healing us needs to be with us. That's not correct. Just because you're being healed by someone or someone is healing you, you don't need to be with them. I like to tell people, like, don't come to me to be with me. Come to me as a friend, because as a friend, you still kind of get the benefits as being with someone. You still get that person watching over you, loving you. Think about your real friends, your genuine friends. They love you and they watch over you and they're there for you for everything. So also pay attention to people's intentions when they immediately come at you. Everything can't be gone off of face value. And a lot of us be like, oh, they're pretty, they're cute. Not to say that you shouldn't have a preference of that either, but it's really what is behind their third eye. What are they thinking? What are their goals? What are their future? And does their purpose match up with yours? Sometimes even if their purpose doesn't, opposites attract. But pay attention to green flags and red flags. And don't just put yourself in a situation or a relationship just because you're lonely. That means you do not know yourself. And if you do not know yourself, that person can turn you into who they want you to be. And at the end of the day, you'll grow resentful because that's not who you are. And your spiritual journey is about being who you are. People can knock you off that path, even if that's not their intention, because you are lonely, because you will accept whatever you think is just halfway there. Halfway isn't good enough, especially if you feel like you deserve what you require. You wouldn't get a car and then get parts that only give you half of the torque or the turbo that you need. You want what you paid for. You want what you want, right? So you get what you want. When you get half-asses what you want, then you become upset, and then things don't work. So instead of putting yourself in that situation, don't put yourself in that situation. Or at least get to know the person that you're trying to be with, especially if they're spiritual. Giving out compliments 24/7 will not catch a spiritual person, because they know that there's more to that. Conversations should be intellectual conversations for a reason. That's why a lot of people don't like small talk. Be mindful when you go towards someone. It's not to say that they're all that and better than you, but the journey that they are on is the journey that they are on. And someone like me, I'm not lowering my requirements. And I'm not taking anybody's bullshit either. If I find it disrespectful, I find it disrespectful. That's my perception of what's going on in my space. So be very confident in what you want. And don't let time make you feel like you're running out of it. Human perception. And sometimes spirit doesn't give us everything we want when we ask for it, because things are not in place for us to receive it the way we need to receive it. And a lot of us grow impatient. Even I have. But I have to catch myself and remember. And we are in Saturn retrograde. If you have not done your natal chart and figured out where Saturn sits in your natal chart, if it does, that is where you have a problem with time, restriction, limitations, and more. Once you know where you're restricted in, when Saturn comes around, you'll know what you'll be great at and what is going to be restricted for you. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I love you all dearly. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming by and commenting. I love you guys so much. Oh, so do you do personal ones and readings? I do readings. I do have a sale going on. But like I always say, if you feel comfortable with my energy and everything like that, then come to me. I have no problem with that. But always just make sure you are comfortable with the person's energy, because sometimes not everybody is reading you for good reasons. And some people like to put things over your life. That's why it's good to be very careful. Only come to me if you feel like you are comfortable with me. If you do not feel comfortable with me, don't. I wouldn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable coming to me for a reading or pressured. But yes, I do readings. I love you too, Lullaby. And we've all learned in our own way. And sometimes I feel like hearing it from someone else can kind of put into perspective what we've been going through and what's been going on. And like I said, I've been thinking about this for weeks. And then my mother, she mentioned it. And I was like, it's probably about time for me to say something and just like kind of give the word to people that might be able to hear it from me. So don't feel bad if you're not in a relationship, because I used to feel bad, but it's because I can see what is and isn't going to happen that I'm not in one, that I'm not pursuing. That upon me making sure I know exactly who I am all the time, that if I do get in a relationship with someone else, I still firmly know who I am, regardless of being with that person or without that person. And that's really important, because a lot of us lose who we are in our identity when we get with someone else. All we do is support them. We don't support our own dreams. And as much as I want to support someone else's own dreams that I get with, which I am, I still have to be about my dreams as well. So keep that in mind. Putting your dreams on hold for someone else's isn't always going to make you happy unless their dreams match with yours. So I'll leave you guys with that. And I will see you guys next time. Enjoy your beautiful Wednesday. Bye, guys.